feels like the world is just like, Washington's dysfunctional, like we're going to keep doing what we're doing and they're watching it, but it doesn't feel like, and I think part of that comes to a head really when it comes to some of these paychecks not being cut, but it is different, don't you think?
Yeah, it is.
Good morning, I'm Anna Palmer.
And I'm Jake Sherman.
And welcome to the Daily Punch, brought to you by Punchbowl News. It's Thursday, October 9th, 2025. Let's get into the mix. Here are your Washington headlines of the day. Number one, the latest on the government shutdown, day 9, and it's a stalemate. Number 2, the redistricting wars hit a snag. And number 3, Democrats' latest embrace of what else other than TikTok, Jake. All right, let's get into it. Happy Thursday morning. Happy to be back on the podcast this morning.
Ooh, nice
Jake,
headphones.
I know. I'm going really old school today.
Yeah, it's retro.
When there is a challenge, you know what? You just go back to 1990s, I guess.
Yeah,
Technology.
I guess so. That's a good point. Yep.
All right. So let's get to it here. First of all, before we get to the government shutdown, which is obviously our biggest focus and has been for quite a while, the big question here is there going to be a ceasefire in the Middle East? President Donald Trump has notched a ceasefire and hostage release deal between Israel and Hamas. The White House announced that Trump will travel to Jerusalem in the coming days. Hamas is slated to release every living hostage, while Israel will pull back its forces and release Palestinian prisoners. If this all works out as hoped, man, it is going to prove to be the biggest achievement of Trump's 2 terms in office.
It should be an interesting Rorschach test, to be honest with you, who, if you are a Democrat, first of all, Republicans will go crazy over this in a good way. They'll say it's a huge achievement, which it is.
For sure.
Getting 20 hostages out, stopping hostilities between Israel and Hamas. I mean, listen, there's a long road to peace, right? All of our lives, and frankly, all of our parents' lives, Israel has been at war in either lightly or in a real way. It'll be interesting to see how Democrats handle this. If you're a Democrat and you can't say, wow, this is really good that there's a hostage release, that's going to be something that it's going to be interesting. A halt of hostilities is a great thing. It is great for 2 countries to not be at war. And it is a huge, huge, huge accomplishment for the president and his team. And he's going to go take a victory lap, which brings us to the next thing, Anna, which is we're on day 9 of a shutdown. And what does this all mean for the shutdown? We touched on that briefly, but I'll throw it to you here at the top.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we are in day 9, as you say. You obviously, I think what this showcases for the president is just how many things he's juggling. Right? All eyes in Washington are on what is happening in Congress. I was traveling the last couple of days for work, and I think one of the things, and I just have to say, because it's been striking me, and you and I have talked about this, but just is how absolutely different this shutdown feels vis-a-vis the world than it did in 2013, than it even did in 2018, 2019, where, it was everybody's watching. The market was, impacted every single day by, was there going to be a resolution here or not? And it feels like the world is just like, Washington's dysfunctional, like we're going to keep doing what we're doing and they're watching it, but it doesn't feel like, and I think part of that comes to a head really when it comes to some of these paychecks not being cut, but it is different, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. We sat down with Chuck Schumer yesterday, and our goal was really, over the last couple of days, they seem to have become more comfortable and more dug in. And we wanted to talk to him about that. And Schumer said, every day gets better for us, in a comment that's certainly going to reverberate in Republican circles. Schumer, we've been pretty clear about this since the beginning. Democrats have instigated the shutdown. The Republicans need their votes, and they have held out for healthcare policies, hugely expensive healthcare policies. Schumer has been able to block the CR much longer than most Republicans and Democrats even thought, House Democrats, that is, and Trump isn't fully dialed into this crisis. Now, I will say this. I don't think that there is a situation in which Democrats over the next couple of days fold. It doesn't seem like that. And part of the reason is the Trump administration has not made this terribly painful for Democrats. They just haven't.
They've threatened, right? There's been a lot of threats. There's been a lot of talk about what they could do. But to your point, they haven't, besides cutting some big programs in blue states, they haven't gone forward with, the potential reductions in force at agencies or the kind of
They
making
haven't
it
changed benefits as they said they were gonna
right,
do. They haven't done
right.
any of that stuff. I mean, which has been surprising to me. And listen, the House being out of session has been a blessing for Schumer. I think it's been a blessing for them because they've had kind of full control over the messaging. They've been in center stage. You could say it's been helpful for Republicans. I think that's probably true. You could argue it both ways, but I think that's probably true. I mean, but listen, when the administration makes it less painful for Democrats, then the cost of them holding out is just not as high. I mean, Trump, in addition to not doing reduction in force, mass layoffs, or anything like that, they've also said they're going to use tariff revenue to bolster WIC,
Right.
the Women, Infant, and Children Nutrition Program.
Yep.
So if you are blunting the pain of all of these really critical programs like WIC, and you can't blame Democrats for shutting down the government and doing it, then like it just makes the cost not as high. I am sorry, it does.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have to see. I think paychecks get difficult for Democrats, right? I really do. I think that
For
that's going to be an
sure.
issue. I think troops not getting paid. I think
Yep.
also, we
6 days from now too, also on the paychecks.
started to see, challenges at airports, all of a sudden when services start not working or impact is being felt at the day-to-day level, that is when I think you probably have some kind of inflection point. So far, we haven't seen it. I do think it's also just, I mean, and I think we were skeptical about the Republican decision to keep the House out of session. It's been out of session now for 20 days. The question's going to be what happens? Does Johnson cancel it for a third straight week?
Well, Kevin Kiley said he better not do that. A Republican from an endangered Republican from California yesterday kind of validated Johnson's decision, to be honest with you, because Mike Lawler got into a couple of screaming matches in the hallways with Democrats. I mean,
Right.
he instigated those purposely. I mean, for the attention and whatever. And I understand that, but yeah, I don't know if he'll keep him out for a third week. He has a call at 11:30 this morning with House Republicans. I think he'll get some pressure to bring him back. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene said, "We're getting killed." She told CNN, "We're getting killed," or something like that. Everyone's getting killed out there, or something like that. I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something to that extent, that this is a really difficult political time for Republicans. I think Johnson's going to hear more of that. He said he's not going to bring the House back until the government's open. I don't know how sustainable that is. I mean, I don't know how sustainable that is. I continue to not know how sustainable that is. He doesn't want a bunch of people running around, but, I don't know that that is a sustainable position to take.
All right, Jake, let's move on to the number 2 story of the morning. Missouri. The GOP governor there signed his state's new congressional map into law last month, but it is far from a done deal. Some Republicans are growing concerned that Democrats may be on the verge of success in their Hail Mary attempt to block the new map from going into effect before the midterms. This is a big deal because as you look at Texas, as you look at some of these states, Republicans are trying every way possible to find a way forward in multiple states. But Missouri does not look like it is a done deal.
Yeah, they need to get 110,000 valid signatures, much more than that, because a bunch will get thrown out.
Democrats too, to stop
Democrats,
it.
yep, exactly. They would kick off the redistricting for at least 2 more years and longer if voters reject the proposal. This is one of the more difficult states. But I mean, listen, California is going to pass. I was skeptical, so I was wrong on that.
Many
California,
times on this podcast, we talked
yeah,
about it.
I've been wrong. California is going to pass. And J.D. Vance is rushing to Indiana to try to convince Indiana to give Republicans another seat or 2 there. And this is the linchpin of their strategy to protect themselves from losses in 2026. Because Donald Trump does not want a Democratic House for the final 2 years of his presidency. He doesn't.
It certainly would change the dynamics.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it would. So we're going to have more on this in the coming days. Allie and I are working on a story, I hope for tomorrow, but who knows with everything that's going on. But I'm hoping for tomorrow we're going to have something else on redistricting. So anyhow, it is very interesting. And this is a real road bump in their strategy.
All right, great item there by our very own Allie Mutnick and Laura Weiss. And now on to the number 3 story of the morning. Top Senate Democrats are learning to stop worrying and love TikTok. This is a fascinating item. Of course, there was a lot of congressional scrutiny about TikTok and the Chinese government's influence over it. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Future Whip Brian Schatz, the Democrat from Hawaii, and Appropriations Committee Ranking Member Patty Murray have all joined the Chinese-owned app since this summer. The other Democrats include Adam Schiff from California, John Hickenlooper from Colorado. An interesting turn of events following President Donald Trump's announcement late last month that there was a deal for American investors to take over TikTok's U.S. operations. But worth noting, Jake, that hasn't happened yet.
I don't understand this, to be honest with you. It's a great item, but
yeah, cool. Deals in the making.
But the deal is done, but it's not like it's taken effect yet. So I don't really understand this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get why people who are skeptical were already more comfortable with this, because people think, many members of the House and Senate, Republican and Democrat, think TikTok is effectively Chinese spyware. So it is not turned, and I'm not a cybersecurity expert, just a lowly Hill reporter. So I don't quite understand why this is the case at this point. But it is a smart item from Penn Brody, Diego, Hannah Campbell, Brendan Peterson. That's a lot of people on one story.
Wow.
But yeah, it is striking that all these folks who were very worried about TikTok are suddenly not, once Donald Trump says that it's going to be in American control, which it's not, as you note, at the moment.
And just a total example, though, of how Democrats in particular are trying to find new ways to reach their constituents.
People. Yes.
And they're trying new modes. I think it just kind of reverberates the entire, or showcases rather, the desire by Democrats to be where the people are. And clearly a lot of folks are on TikTok. One quick thing before we go, Jake, we have Senator Ruben Gallego, the Democrat from Arizona, on flyout day later this morning. Really looking forward to what I can only presume will be a very lively conversation about what Democrats are doing, the state of the shutdown, and so much more. It's going to be good.
Yes, it is. I'm excited for that too. And we have Igor Bobek and John Bresnahan on our Gab Fest afterwards. So I'm excited about that.
The one and only John Bresnahan, his 6th government shutdown, going to be giving us, I'm sure, some pearls of wisdom about what's happening on the Hill. We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. I'm happy to be back. I'll be back tomorrow morning as well. As always, you can find us on all things Punchbowl News on all social media, including you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Punchbowl News. And if you want to go deeper on this morning's stories and much more, go to punchbowl.news. Have a great day and stay safe, everybody.